The mansion was quiet, except for the faint hum of the security system. Edward Kane, a self-made millionaire in his late 50s, stood in his study staring at the open safe. Inside lay stacks of crisp bills, a few gold bars, and his most precious family heirlooms. He had left it wide open, on purpose. Edward didn't usually distrust people, but life had taught him a harsh truth. When money was involved, loyalty could vanish. And though his maid, Maria, had worked for him for nearly 2 years, a nagging thought wouldn't let him rest. Was she truly as honest as she seemed? Maria was a quiet woman in her mid-30s, always polite, never asking for more than what was offered. She worked tirelessly, sending most of her earnings back to her 2 children in another country. But Edward had grown cynical with age. Too many friends had betrayed him, too many business partners had cheated him. So, he devised this cruel little test. If Maria was truly honest, she would leave the safe untouched. If not, Edward would catch her red-handed. He hid a small camera in the corner, sat back in his leather chair, and waited. That morning, Maria came in as usual, carrying her cleaning supplies and humming softly. She dusted, polished, and mopped with her usual dedication. Then, she stepped into the study. Her eyes immediately landed on the open safe. She froze. Edward's heart raced as he watched from the monitor. Would she look inside? Would she take something small, thinking no one would notice? Maria did walk closer. She stared at the stacks of money, her hands trembling slightly. For a long moment, she just stood there. Edward's chest tightened. This is it. She's tempted. Everyone is. But then, something unexpected happened. Maria reached into her apron pocket, pulled out a small envelope, and carefully placed it inside the safe. She closed her eyes for a second, whispered something under her breath, and turned away. Edward leaned forward, confused. What did she just put inside? After Maria left the room, he rushed to the safe. Inside the envelope was a neatly folded note, and a few crumpled bills. The note read, Mr. Kane, I noticed your safe was open. I don't know if you left it this way on purpose or by accident, but I didn't want anything to go missing. I don't have much, but here is $20. It's all I have right now, just in case you needed help urgently and forgot your safe open. Please don't be upset. Maria. Edward felt his throat tighten. He reread the note, his vision blurring with tears. This woman, who barely made enough to support her family, had just offered him her last bit of money. She had seen temptation, but instead of taking, she gave. That evening, Edward called Maria into his study. She looked nervous, as if she had done something wrong. Maria, he said softly, holding up the envelope, I saw what you did today. Her face flushed. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to overstep. I didn't want you to lose anything. And if you ever needed help, I wanted you to know I'd do what I could, even if it's not much. Edward's voice cracked. Maria, you offered me your last $20. Do you realize what that means to someone like me? I've been surrounded by people who only wanted to take. And here you are, willing to give. Tears filled Maria's eyes. Sir, I don't have much. But I know what it feels like to lose. I know what it feels like to be without. If I can help, even a little, then I must. For the first time in years, Edward felt something break inside him. His cynicism, his mistrust, his coldness, they all crumbled in the face of Maria's selflessness. He realized the test he had set wasn't about Maria's honesty. It was about his own faith in humanity. The next morning, Edward called Maria into the dining room. On the table was a folder with papers inside. This house, he said quietly, is too big for me. It needs a family, not just an old man. I want you and your children to live here. I'll still travel, I'll still work, but this house, it should be a home. Your home. Maria's hands flew to her mouth. Sir, I can't accept this. You can, Edward interrupted gently. Because for the first time in years, I've met someone who reminded me of what truly matters. And I want to be part of giving, not just taking. You taught me that. From that day forward, Edward's mansion was no longer just a cold display of wealth. Laughter echoed in the halls. Maria's children filled the rooms with life. And Edward, once a lonely millionaire trapped in his mistrust, found the family he didn't know he was missing. All because a woman with almost nothing chose to give instead of take. The lesson. Sometimes the richest person in the room isn't the one with the open safe full of money. It's the one with an open heart.